I'm gonna make a privacy screen using a leftover piece of plywood of the foldable workbench. I'll be using hinges of the old gate and I'll use a barrel bolt to keep it in place. Alright, so this might be one of the easiest and quickest projects that I have done in a really long time, and also one with like the greatest impact. Let me walk you through the situation. So it's almost hard to see, but you can just about make out the front of the car that's parked in the yard of the neighbors, and so it means it's like a very narrow strip of visibility from the road. We want to eliminate it, and I found. So you saw the front loader of my neighbor passing just now, and if I have like a narrow piece of plywood that reaches all the way until the handle of the old step, then we're in business, and that just happens to be the piece of plywood that's left over from the construction of the foldable workbench. So this right here is the old gate, the old pedestrian gate, and for this project I'm gonna use these hinges. They look a bit rusty, but I think they're still strong enough. Especially since the piece of plywood, it's not that big, but still I like it to be held in place with pretty firm hinges, you know, just in case, so it doesn't come down unexpectedly. And this is also the second time that I'm going to be using my foldable workbench, and the last time I used it, it was such a joy because it's slightly higher than my workmate and I have more space to work, and the other project, it went much quicker because of that, and I have a feeling that it's going to be the same thing today. So I can really recommend you building a foldable workbench if you haven't already. Eight years, and it rusted through. I turned it just a little bit and it just broke. It's a bit on the rusty side, so I'll run a steel brush over it, but yeah, it's a pretty heavy hinge, so I'm gonna see what happens there. Onto the other side. Alright, so both hinges look pretty rusted, so I'm gonna use a steel brush to see how they look when I take off the superficial stuff. I like this. I bought this a couple of years ago to take off the rust of our stainless steel fridge, and it did wonders. It came back after 1 to 2 years actually, but to take it off, it really works. I think it's gonna do the same here. I should keep it in place. I'm gonna clamp it to the workmat. Okay, so here's the deal. It looks pretty rusted on one side, but the other side it's also rusted, but it's not that bad. Now the thing is also that we live in a tropical climate, and things rust like crazy, and yeah, this is just standard quality that I got in the hardware store here, and since the privacy screen will not be exposed to rain, only to sunlight, I am just gonna go with it. It might change your whole perspective of how I work, because yeah, I must say it looks a bit rough, but the rusty side is gonna go on top of the plywood. So yeah, it's rusty now, but I don't think it's gonna rust through that much. And still it feels sturdy, and that's, I think, the most important part. So yeah, not my proudest moment, but yeah, I just like to use what I have available, and this is just one of those things that yeah, this is the best that I got, and I'm just going to use it, and I think it will last maybe 10 years, but you know, the same applies to the plywood, because plywood doesn't last forever here either. So 10 years, well, that's good enough for me. Remember that I like to build with speed, style and strength. So for those 10 years it's going to be strong, it's going to be easy to put up, and also, yeah, to take down, it's also going to be easy. So I feel good on all accounts. This already looks much better, and I think it's almost good enough. I'm gonna run it over one more time, but I think I will end up painting it white anyway, so then this is not such a bad color for the wood to begin with. Okay, the sanding is out of the way. I made like a nice curve here. I just think it looks a bit nicer. I'm surprised at how clean it came out. I really am. So that's really good. So I'll transfer this to the foldable workbench. I just want to try something. Let's see how it comes out with the other side. It doesn't do much, and I think it will just end up tearing up the sandpaper, so I'll just use it as it is. Alright, so I'm gonna start by taking the dimensions. I hadn't done that yet. So it's 50 centimeters wide, and it's 93 centimeters tall. So I want the hinges to be pretty much in the middle. Alright, exactly, well, actually I want them to be evenly distributed. Let me put it like that. So I'll put a mark at 73 and a mark at 20. And it's 20 centimeters from the top. Now next up I'll use my carpenter square to make a straight line going up. I'm putting the hinges in the middle so you can see the line that I drew with a carpenter square through the hole here. So let me move it aside so then you know what I'm talking about. So this line going up, it is here in the middle. Now I'm also looking at the line here. So what I want is that if the hinge opens, that it's flush against the wall. So that's why I'm double checking to make sure that over here this is like one side, and if I put my carpenter square against it, I can actually like feel like, okay, this is gonna work out. And if I want to use maximum precision, I can just place this underneath of the wood, open this against it, keep it in place, and then I'll make the markings. Now, then I'll just repeat this on the other side. Alright, I'm running into a bit of a problem because the smaller size bolt, it's this length, and if I put it up against it here, I think you can even see from this angle that it's way longer than the thickness of the wood. So I'm gonna solve it as follows. I'm gonna take a couple of strips of plywood, and I will put that on top of here. So I will do this after drilling the holes because I already marked those. Then afterwards I will put the plywood, drill the holes in that small piece of plywood, and then put the hinges in place. I think that's the best solution that I can think of. So just to double check, if I put this on top here, then it's just gonna be the exact length that I want. So it's a bit of an improv, but yeah, it's the best I can do. I was checking to see if it was like a nice number, but 22 centimeters, nothing special there. So I'm just gonna mark it here, 22, and then my other scrap piece, I'll measure it to the same size. Alright, I'll quickly cut this using the jigsaw. I'll mark the middle of the small pieces of wood. They're 10 centimeters wide, so at 5 I'll make a marking. Same here. Now using the carpenter square that I will place like so on the marking, I'll turn it and make the marking along this side as well. So repeat. So keep it like so, and then over here I make the same marking. Now I'm gonna repeat this with the bigger piece of wood as well. Alright, so next I'll put the pieces of plywood underneath and I'll line them up using the lines that I just made on the sides, because then I can drill both pieces of wood one time, and that should simplify things. Now, since I just made the foldable workbench, I'm not ready yet to start drilling into it, so I'll just start with these 3 holes here, because this one I would end up drilling in the table, which I do not want. And then when this is to size, I can put the bolts through, and then I can do the last one here. Now, as always, I'll start with a small size and then work my way up. Look from all sides to make sure I'm drilling straight down. I could have used another drill in between because it went a little bit too forceful for my taste, but it is what it is. I will keep the piece of wood underneath in place using just a bolt and a nut in the middle. So then I can shift the wood to the side. And of course I'll do the same on the other side. So again, I'll start with the small drill and work my way up. Alright, so now I can just put everything in place. So I'll use a washer on both sides and then secure it with a nut. Alright, so what I paid attention to was to not over tighten the nuts, because plywood is pretty soft, and if I do that, I would end up splitting the wood, so that's not what I want, of course. So I got the privacy screen door in a place where I wanted to go, so it's supported by the step. It wasn't quite high enough, so I put a piece of plywood here, and if I push it down, it's gonna reach until the beam. So that's what I will be doing shortly. So on top, right here, I want it to be flush against the beam, because then I can use the barrel bolt to keep it in place, and the barrel bolt is quite small, so it really needs to be flush against it. Alternatively, I could use a piece of wood and put it on top and solve it like that, but I like it to consist of as few pieces of wood as possible. Now also I want it to be straight, so I'll use my level to make sure that that's the case. Okay, so I keep it in this line, then I can press it to go up, and then I use my pencil to make all the markings. Now I could only find two sizes of screws, and either really big or pretty small, so I have to go with pretty small, and since it's quite a few holes, I think it's gonna be strong enough. Alright, so I'm gonna push against it to keep it in place, and then hopefully I can use my free hand to drive in the screws. Okay. It already feels firm even with one screw, so I'll do one below, and then I can let it hang temporarily and put in all the other screws. Alright, time to put up the barrel bolt. Alright, so next up I'll mark the hole for the barrel bolt. Now what I'm doing is I'm pulling it back just a little bit because I want it to be a bit of tension on it. And I'll push it out and then make a marking, ideally around it. So I have a clear indication of where the hole needs to go. So now I can close it to the side like this. And this will have to be a pretty big hole. So I'll start small, like I always do, and then I'll get big. That almost went too easy, and I think it's already deep enough. So let's see how this goes. Okay, I feel a bit of tension. Push this up. Oh, it needs to be a bit to the side, so I'll jiggle it a little bit. Okay, prima. Alright, firmly in place. So yeah, I must admit it doesn't look like anything really special, to be honest, because it's just a piece of plywood, two old hinges and a barrel bolt, but it's gonna make a ton of a difference, and this is just one of those other projects that just took a really long time to get to, and it's gonna make a really huge impact. So I hope I inspired you to build something for yourself with speed, style and strength, and that's it, that's the video. Yeah! Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And it's pretty strong. It feels strong too, so that's good. I'm happy today. This went well.